Hey guys, today I'm going to go over the new Apple lineup of the iPhone 5, the iPod Touch 5th generation, and the new iPod Nano, which I think is the 7th generation? I don't know. I don't think it says it on here. So, well, I'm doing this. I'm homesick today, so tons of time to edit. It's only 12 o'clock. So we're going to go over the iPhone first. So the iPhone obviously has the new 4-inch display, but it's not any wider, it's only taller. So if you turn it sideways, it's a little bit more widescreen. 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. Starts at $199, black and white. I already said that. It has the A6 chip, which I believe I read somewhere. They think it's going to have an ARM Cortex A15, which is basically what's in like the Samsung Galaxy S3 and all the new phones out there. But most of the phones only have one of those chips. The iPhone 5, I think, was the first one. It's going to be the first one to have two, so it's going to be like the fastest phone out there with the dual core. They finally added 4G, because the iPhone 4S was faster with stuff, but they didn't actually add 4G, even though it was out. The first device to get the 4G from Apple was the iPad 3, or the new iPad, which came out at the developers conference, back in June? May? Yeah, the Worldwide Developer Conference, or whatever, something like that. They added the new 8 megapixel iSight camera, so it's going to be pretty good for recording. 1080p recording, HD, obviously Siri, and to find out all what's going to happen to Siri, pay attention to the next iOS 6 video about what's upcoming in iOS 6 that I'm also going to make today. And also, it's going to come preloaded with iCloud and iOS 6. So if you get more into it, it obviously has the new design, which actually looks kind of nice. It has the Retina display, which I think was introduced in the iPhone 4. Same width as the 4S, is what they're saying. So it's going to be like the same screen, the iPad, the iPod Touch, 4th and 5th, and the iPhone 4, 4S, and now the 5. Now, Wi-Fi, they say Wi-Fi is faster too, but someone's probably going to prove that wrong, or prove it right. We'll find out. And also, 4G LTE, the A6 chip. It's powerful, but not power hungry. I'm just looking at the Apple Store app on my iPod. See what this said. Increases CPU performance by up to 50% and graphics performance up to twice as fast on the A5. But even with all that speed, iPhone 5 still gives you an outstanding battery life. Tech specs. Okay, it's 4.87 inches tall, or 123.8 millimeters. It's 2.31 inches wide, or 58.6 millimeters. It's 0.3 inches thick, or 7.6 millimeters, and it weighs 3.95 ounces, or 112 grams. So it's obviously thinner than the last iPhone. Now, this is what everyone's gonna hate, is the new lightning connector, which is what they're calling it, instead of the dock connector, which I think they've been using since the original iPod. They used it on the iPad, iPhone, iPods, all of that, and they're finally getting rid of it, which I'm not really happy about. But they did make an adapter for it, but the adapter starts at $30, and if you want a cable adapter, which basically actually has the dock on one end and the lightning on the other, it's a cable, that's like $40. Whoever decides to be the first one to make another one that's cheaper is probably gonna get tons of money from that. Okay, they have 802.11 AGB Wi-Fi, or ABGN now, So they have 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. They have this blah 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 CDMA, GSM, Bluetooth 4.0, and GPS and GLONASS. Don't know what that. And it uses a nano SIM card. You have Siri and use your voice to send messages and set reminders and more. You have the on and off sleep wake, obviously, the ring silent switch, the up and down volume, and the home button. So nothing to do with that. The headphone jack is now moved to the bottom, and the speakers are a bit more visible and look like they might be a little bit louder, but don't know that for sure. And then you have the sleep/wake button, lightning connector. Make sure I had a picture of that. All the other stuff, AirPlay mirroring to Apple TV, or Panorama, which is new with iOS. It's gonna be new with iOS 6. Basically, you just take it instead of having to take separate pictures. You just swipe your phone and it makes a panorama. But I'll feature that in the other iOS 6 video. Up to 30 frames per second with audio, 1080p video recording. The 8 megapixel iSight camera, which I think is in the back. Yeah, and the FaceTime HD camera, which is the front one, has 1.2 megapixel and 720p at 30 frames per second. Autofocus, kept the focus or video or still images, just like normal. Face detection, I think, was on it, and LED flash. Improved video stabilization and photo and video geotagging, which basically I think you can shut it off in your location stuff services, but it basically where you take a picture, it uses your GPS and tags it to the picture. So be careful with that, because if you put it on like Facebook and stuff, people can find out where you were or where you live, stuff like that. The 326 pixels per inch display, 1136 by 640 resolution, has the proximity sensor, the ambient light sensor, the accelerometer, and the 3-axis gyro. So all those little sensors. Like the ambient light, just like what adjusts your brightness and stuff. The proximity, I forget. And then they have the new Apple EarPods, which are redesigned, supposed to be more comfortable. And they have the mic and a storage and travel case. I don't know if that was the old iPhone or not, but up to I like that. Up to 8 hours on 3G, but not 4G. Up to 225 hours on standby time. Up to 8 hours on 3G. Up to 8 hours on LTE. 10 hours on Wi-Fi. To 10 hours video playback and up to 40 hours audio playback. And blah 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 blah. Okay. So I don't know. Let's see how much has changed. We're gonna go back to the other iPhone and I'm gonna skim through real fast. The iPhone 4S and tech specs. So it seems like it's the same width, yes. Obviously, it actually is thinner by... It's thinner by 0.0 or 7/100ths of an inch and 1 point something. I can't think right now. 9.9 minus 7 is 2 and 0.3. 0.3 minus 6 would be... Alright, so 1.7 inches thinner, or 1.7 millimeters thinner. It's lighter. I don't even want to figure it out how, but it's obvious. It has a good difference of like about 30 grams. 28 exactly. And almost 1 whole ounce. So it's not bad. It did have... they added a wireless A Wi-Fi and 5 gigahertz. Lightning connector, obviously. The headphone jack was on the top, it's on the bottom now. It had the iPhone 4S had the 8 megapixel iSight camera, so I guess that's not new. And yep, Retina display at 326 ppi pixels per inch. So let me check. Yes, it's it is not any. more, or it's not any better, but it's bigger, obviously. Instead of 3.5 inches, a 4-inch. And I'm spending 10 minutes on just the iPhone, so this is just going to be an iPhone video. Proximity sensor was already there, but yep, so that's all that's new for the new iPhone. And so yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to find out about the iPod Touch and iPod Nanos, watch the next video or videos, depending how much there's a change I have to go through. And look forward to the iOS 6 video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, favorite, and subscribe.